If you're struggling with energy all day long, you've tried different diets, you've tried the intermittent fasting, the full day fasting, you've tried the high carbohydrate, the high protein, the high fat diets, and nothing seems to work, then you need to have this test done. This test is absolutely amazing for anybody struggling with energy issues, recovery, or repair, or people who are trying to figure out which type of diet may be best for their body specifically. Now, in this patient's case, they've tried fasting, they've tried the carbohydrate diets, they feel terrible all the time, and they never have energy. When we look at why they struggle with fasting, we can see that their body's ability to utilize fatty acids is not very good. And what that means is they can't use fat for fuel. Because they don't have the cofactors over here, the fats aren't getting shunted into our citric acid cycle, which is where the body creates energy. The other problem is when we take a look at this test, they're really not using carbohydrates well for fuel either. They're getting the carbohydrates into the cycle at least, but then every single thing is high, and nothing's actually getting down into our electron transport chain where we actually produce the energy. And the reason for this is because of heavy metal toxicity in this specific patient. When we take a look at what that looks like, the patient was extremely high in mercury. Now, we know that mercury is a huge issue for a lot of people. We know that it's taken out of a lot of the places in the market, but this patient still had high mercury levels. Now, in addition to that, they also had levels of lead, arsenic, and cadmium, all of which should be below detectable limits. Now, even though they weren't in the red and they weren't medically an issue, the mercury definitely was. And looking at this total toxic body burden here, we can see that they were high or at least slightly elevated in all four elements. Because of that, no matter what the patient does with dietary stuff, with fats, carbohydrates, and proteins up here at the top, nothing's actually getting through the cycle into where we produce energy because of the toxic exposure. Now, this is a really cool example of a patient who's tried all the things, and actually no matter what they try, nothing's really going to work until they can get into a detox. So for this specific patient, their energy issues aren't diet related, they're detox related, and pushing into that detox as soon as possible, being able to bind some of those metals and eliminate them from the body is going to be the biggest thing that helps them start to get that body utilizing fuel for energy.